Welcome back. You're watching The Front Row. We are on to our last part of the show. I'd like us to begin with something on Slido that Adano Diambo has asked that will lead into our next conversation here. Let's quickly take a look at what he says on slido.com. And he says the impact is real. The big conversation will now be around innovation and around the new normal. We are communal and social animals. And there was another question there for Perak. As for Perak, the discussion will be more around self-regulation and discipline, apart from compliance with the Covid-19 protocol. So we'll have Michael Mudama speak on that. But I like that he mentioned that it's time for us to think of innovative ways of doing things. For you, Kira, how then can, as we move forward, how then do we maintain business continuity, even with these current challenges that we are facing? For those that this is their only bread and butter, how do they move forward?
COVID-19 came to show us that probably we have not been doing things the right way. In any event, if you're an event manager, the key things that guide your event is safety and security. So safety in terms of hygiene for the food and drinks that are being brought by my colleague here. Safety in terms of structures that you're putting in place. Safety in terms of making sure the people coming in are safe in your own event in terms of security. And now with COVID coming in, it's shining light to all of us equally that there is absolutely no way you're going to host an event in another remote place of this country where you feel nobody is watching you. Because the government under TRA, that's Tourism Regulatory Authority, are now mandated to be able to check and to come to check that you're actually observing the social distancing protocols as they were released by the Ministry of Tourism. So it's up to us first and foremost to now look at ourselves as event managers and say, okay, I need to have a safety and security person in our events. Because a group like Standard Group, for example, when you're doing Choma na Ngoma, you have a whole department called SHE that comes and monitors what we are doing to ensure that everything that we are doing is safe. Now, if you have been, hiding and not doing that, that is gone. It does not matter which event company you are or where you are based in this country, you have to adhere to that. The second one is we have to do a lot of research across the world and see if Mexicans do an event and it's successful, it's up to us to know what did they do and how did they succeed? What was the outcome? Did people observe the social distancing? And I'm talking about zero vaccine, the way things are right now. Did people observe the safety precautions? For those who didn't, how did you deal with them? Suppose you host an event and then your event becomes the source of contact. They normally give them numbers, so I don't know what that number will be. So in your event, somebody came and by bad luck, somebody got infected. That now can be, and that's why I'm feeling for our brothers in the bar industry, because it's crazy. Okay, us, we haven't attempted, and I think Dr. Catherine Matsisa are the guys who have. I can't remember any event I've had that has happened, and if they have, it's very few people, and you're live streaming. So the live stream is key, but we have now to be very, very innovative in how do we get to give the same experiences that require people to come together and socialize without them socializing. So those are the challenges. And I think since it's not something that anybody had foreseen, everybody is researching, how do we do it? How do we do it? How do we do it? So basically it means you need maybe bigger spaces to be able to accommodate the numbers. The spaces cannot be expanded. I mean, you can't go to a ballroom of a certain hotel and tell them, no, I need a bigger space. So I was talking to a colleague in Kisumu, he runs, I think, Grand Royal Suites, and he was telling me, in a space they used to do 1,000 people, now they are forced to do only 200 people. So you can imagine. So like my colleague there was saying, it doesn't make business sense for me to take this event that I need 1,000 people, but now I need to have 200 people. It means I have to cost times maybe more to be able to make money to cover my operational cost and to also make some small profit. So most people, when you do your calculations, you look at it, you discuss with your client, and you decide, let's still wait. So there is a lot of that of, we want yes to do, but when you calculate how much it will cost vis-a-vis the returns on investment, it doesn't make sense. So it's a wait and see attitude, position right now, but we are hopeful that things will open up. Yes.
Dr. Masitsa, do you think then there are any best practices to consider to help cope with these large-scale disruptions? Are there any new business models that, if you were to advise those in this industry moving forward, what are some of the things they would need to rethink?
Obviously, we have to rethink our business models. For example, the venue owners. Perhaps rather than having one wedding, you want to see, can you have many more? That's a different model. And then you want to see then how are you going to split that charging? And then again, perhaps one of the things we need to, because another pandemic may come. I've seen online, there's so many other things that I saw bubonic plague in China, that the whole village has been quarantined. So now we are waking up to that. It means we need to also start pushing the legislation such that, there are certain laws that govern marriages. You have to either a representative who is marrying you on behalf of the government, and the churches mandate, the religious organizations are mandated to do that, and or you get somebody, a representative from the Attorney General's office physically to come there, and or you go to that office. So even when you're looking at doing online marriages, Chris had challenged me earlier that you want to see somebody from North Pole getting married to someone in South Pole, then we actually have, then we need to push for that legislation so that if there's another pandemic that comes, and who knows, these people who went to Mass the other day, they may bring other viruses, we don't know. So we need to push that legislation such that it is actually changed such that these kind of marriages can be accepted. But what I want to say is that we also have to be innovative. So for example, they say 15 people. So at any one time, you just want to make sure the ceremony is with the near and dearest. And then for the reception, you have the 15 people come, they say hi, and then perhaps they take their food and go away because you wanted to share a meal, right? They stay there for 5 minutes and go away. And then another bunch of 15 people come. You can still have your 200 people still attend. So we have to look at these and skin this cat in many ways. It's difficult. We haven't thought of that. But on the other hand, let me tell you something, Wandera, that one of the things, even though you're seeing some weddings happening, and I've seen showing them, the truth is a lot of brides have postponed their weddings. You have to look at why people actually do not this money that sometimes even they don't have. It's about showing off. So there's no way, like if I was actually getting married right now, there's no way I would actually get married and wear a mask and you can't see my makeup. And no. A lot of brides are just thinking like that. And if they're like me, no, I'm not married. So the thing is, on a better note, what I see is that next year, if a vaccine is found, let me tell you, we'll be inundated with so many weddings that will be happening because a lot of brides are actually pushing their weddings. Very few, like this August is supposed to be a very busy wedding month. How many vehicles have you met on the road when you're just driving over the weekend of a couple getting married? I used to meet just driving from here, like maybe about 3-4 limousines. Now I don't see anything. So weddings are not even happening right now. People are getting married, big weddings to show off. So
Okay, I should mention that among those who believe or say that if there was a time to get married, this is the perfect time. Have 15 people, do a wedding and finish up with that. But we'll see how that goes. I want to now speak to DJ John Falme. Both Kira and Catherine have talked about, the disruption and some of the new business models. In your earlier submissions, you've talked about DJs being in groups, talking about, how are we responding to this? Are there new ways we will be seeing things happen? And even when I was preparing for this interview, I saw a comment by DJ Black Coffee who says that there is need to rethink the music scene. Do you think we're likely to see something like that?
Yeah, for sure. We need to rethink on what we're going to be doing next. But then again, right now, we are in the rethinking process, actually. DJs popped up immediately. For us, we really acted fast because our industry was affected as the first ones, yeah? So that's why guys jumped on the online thing really quick. Watu wame panic. So for right now, we're thinking of, okay, Sawa, we've done the online thing, so what's next? So is it the content that will change online, or is it the music that you're going to change, or, Because then again, DJing is all about, apart from playing on radio and TV, DJing is all about crowd interaction, as in that's one of the five main fundamentals of DJing. Crowd reading is one of them. It's what you were taught in the DJ Academy. So at the end of the day, we really need to, besides thinking of a different business model, at the end of the day, we really need to get back on the ground as well, because it's who we are. It's how the DJ industry works. Playing for the people that you're seeing, looking at their reaction, that's, for us, it's a really different story. So we don't have much of a choice, honestly, yeah? Apart from now doing online and radio and TV. Playing on ground is the main thing, Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think the future looks like for the industry?
Honestly speaking, if this, like Kira said, if this vaccine works, we are back on track. As in, guys are hungry. When the president said you can have, is it Mutai Kagwe said you can have the Mutai Kagwe special in quotes, mm-hmm. Restaurants have started picking up, because then again DJs had already started getting back to work, because you're playing music as guys are having their lunch, and the club can sustain, the club or the restaurant can sustain paying you, because then alcohol brings in a lot of income. But then again, we'll just have to wait for now. For now, it's just a waiting game. And once everything gets back to normal, because honestly speaking, in terms of the social thing, in terms of us as human beings, for parties, this is not necessarily the new normal. This is just a phase that's going to pass. Once this thing works, we're going to be back and running again.
There was a bailout, so to speak, from the government, about 100 million shillings for creatives. Are we feeling this on the ground? From where you sit?
Nothing. Nothing. I think that was for musicians only. For DJs and creatives, there is nothing that has been mentioned to us. Yeah.
Do you feel left out? Finally, before I go to Michael, do you feel left out as DJs or as a family of DJs?
Of course. Yeah, as the family of DJs, nothing has been, the government, it's like the government has not even recognized that DJs actually exist. So it's a whole truth. I can't sugarcoat anything. Like, nothing has been mentioned. DJs are not even a topic of discussion in this thing. And we are so many, we have, like Perak said, we have like 8,000 bars in Nairobi only. Now you can imagine every bar has like 2 to 3 DJs. That's in Nairobi only. And then you have guests, those are resident DJs. Now you have guest DJs who play in those clubs and pubs. Now you can imagine now the whole country, how many DJs are there? We're in millions, and nothing has been discussed so far.
That's rather unfortunate. For you, Michael, how then can members ensure that, because I saw that in one of your statements, the one that PERAC sent out, how then do members ensure financial and business sustainability and stability, especially now? You've talked about a closure, you talk about having alcohol that is expiring on the shelves or going bad. How then do we move forward? What are you looking up to as PERAC?
Unfortunately, at the moment, we are in that old African system where we are a patient in hospital. Right now, no one is trying to raise for us money. They are going to raise for us when we die. So our funerals are going to be very good. But right now, we are on the edge, and we really need help. The one person who can help us right now is the government. By helping us with raising some stimulus package would be very helpful at the moment. Trying to help us with the banks, for those of us who have loans and everything. Help us with tax breaks and rebates. That would really help us at the moment.
So going forward, what do you think, because we're dealing with a very uncertain situation, if the government does not step in, what will this mean for you? And are we having conversations with the government around this?
We are, but first of all, you have to remember, our members have invested billions and billions into this industry. If you look at the annual turnover of the businesses in our industry, it's about 950 billion a year. If you calculate how much we are giving the government in taxes, we are one of the largest consumers of the locally manufactured goods. If you look at the whole food and beverage industry, we are one of the biggest. If you let us die, half of this economy will die with us.
All right, I'd like to get your closing remarks. Yes. Just finish your point and give us your closing remarks as we wind up.
Yes. Because we have accepted that, as you say, there's a new normal, and we have to change with the times. We are willing to sit with anyone who can, the government and everything. We're willing to change our protocols, anything in order to help our industry reopen and move forward, so that the 5 million people who depend directly on this industry can have something to it. Because I really hope that is what I'm actually finishing on. Let the government listen to us. Let us sit down with MOH officials and listen, and let's find a way forward for this entertainment industry.
All right, thank you very much. Dear John Falme, let's have your closing remarks. So what would you like to see as we wrap up the conversation? All right, we'll come back to him. I'm not sure he's able to hear me. And Chris Kirwa, let's hear from you. Your closing remarks. So then, moving forward, what would you like to see? What do we expect to see?
Thank you for this opportunity to speak. What I want to see is all of us now realizing that we cannot do what we've been doing normally. We cannot escape the deep scrutiny that will come in terms of government coming and saying, are you meeting the safety protocols that were released? And everybody, and you cannot be an events industry person, and up to now probably you haven't read them or searched for them to understand what it requires. So we need to adhere. That adherence has to happen. To our customers and to our clients, we cannot give up, because this is an industry that feeds all of us. This is an industry that brings all the other industries together. It doesn't matter which industry you're in. Once in a while over the weekend, you want to attend an event to unwind and relax. So we look forward and support all efforts across Kenya, of course, and across the world that will bring our industry back. We cannot allow this industry to die. It employs a lot of people that are behind the scenes, because that's what we are.
Okay.
We employ so many people that you don't see in front.
All right. DJ John Falme, I hope you're able to hear me now. We'd like to get your closing remarks as we wind up.
Yes. I would say that, like Chris Kirwa and Muthami have said, it's high time the government, because right now I think we are the only industry that has been affected. Everything else, it's kind of like everything else has opened up kidogo. So I would say, I really hope the government looks into how they can help us actually. So that's the only thing I can say for now. Nothing much. It's the only thing. Yeah.
Government stepping in to help the DJs. Dr. Masitsa, you get to have the last word on this as we wind up. Your closing remarks, please.
So my closing remarks is that I think COVID has exposed the fact that, in terms of when you're talking about the entertainment industry, we are one of the biggest employers right now of the young people in terms of even creating new jobs and all that. And earlier on, I alluded to the fact that the entertainment industry redistributes income. And up to now, so I'm hoping if you have large corporates, sitting and talking about, we may not really have the data, and we are working on the data, bringing the data of the entertainment industry to realize that once that money is not redistributed, it just goes back to affect even now those big corporates when the entertainment industry is suffering. So all of us, it shows that one group cannot move forward without the other group. And as the other day when I looked at when I saw what the minister was saying, it has also opened the fact that entertainment industry is just beyond the coastal hotels and the Mara. It's about everybody else. The entertainment industry is giving the vibe of Kenya. When you think about Kenya, what comes to your mind? You may not think about the big hotels, but you think about the people of Kenya, the good time that you had. So we also need that stimulus package so that we can move ahead with everybody else. But for business people also watching, it means that just as you save for a rainy day in your private account, businesses also now need to start saving for a rainy day, for a pandemic like this that you can last for 1 year. So this thing of following employees, just firing employees, like on text, that cannot happen. So we all need to move forward with that. So those will be my only comments.
All right, thank you very much for joining us here on the front row. That's how we wrap it up. A call to the government to consider this particular industry, entertainment and events industry. Even when we're talking about stimulus package, it has been a rough ride, considering this is one of the industries that was among the first to be largely affected and disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Joining us on this episode of the front row was Dr. Catherine Masitsa, the CEO and founder of the Samantha Bridal, Chris Kirwa, the Chief Operating Officer at Kate Chris Limited, that is an events agency, Joseph Mwendwa, commonly known as DJ John Falme, and Michael Muthami, the Director, Pubs Restaurant Entertainment Association of Kenya, PERAC. Gentlemen and lady, thank you for joining us for this episode of The Front Row, and that's how we wrap it up. Thank you for joining us. I'll be seeing you next Tuesday as we take a look at matters COVID and the latest developments or disruptions. I am Akisa Wandera. Thank you for joining us.